Hi, I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist, and this is Equal Entertainment. Janelle Monáe is breaking the internet with their steamy new single, Lipstick Lover. The award-winning singer, rapper, and actor is releasing their first album in 5 years, and just recently dropped the hot new video for their single, It's All About Pleasure, as Monáe wears a see-through t-shirt with the word pleasure plastered across it. While this video racks up views, the album is set for release on June 9th. Monáe says the album is, quote, our audio oasis made with love and signed with cherry red kisses. Just in time for Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, Sesame Street has welcomed its first Filipino character. Meet TJ. He's the program's latest Asian-American Muppet. Filipino-American animator Bobby Pontias based TJ on two of his friends' kids. Puppeteer and performer Yinan Shentu is the voice for TJ. A Korean-American character, Ji Young, was introduced on Sesame Street in 2021. Gold House is celebrating Asian excellence across all industries from tech to entertainment. Out.com digital director Rafi Ermac was on the gold carpet for this year's Gold Gala, asking participants if now is the perfect time to be Asian and queer.
There is that interesting cross-section between these months, so yes. I mean, look, I was always proud to be Asian and queer. It's just nice that the rest of the world woke up and was like, oh yeah, they exist. So how I feel about it is, F you, we were here all along.
Yeah, I think I tweeted once that the last day of May and the first day of June, it's for the queer Asians. Like, we're at the height of our power. We're like at that moment where Sailor Moon transforms, where you're like, is she naked? I don't know, she's covered in galactic rainbows. That's where we're at. Like, so just so you know, I am an astrology expert. So I think there's something that happens with like an Asian moon with a rising gay, and they cross section at midnight when May and June hit. So you all just got to know, at that moment, you should do whatever you want.
You know, that intersecting part of who I am, being a trans Filipina, being a Filipino immigrant, all of that, and to move to America, and my book is coming out May 30, that spills into Pride. So I think that pursuit of completely doing it all at once, right? I carry that pride with me as a trans Filipina, and obviously in the journey and what I'm about.
Yes, the queerness and the Asianness has never oozed out of my pores more. It's a celebration. I think, at the end of the day, it's important to kind of embrace who we are and, feel comfortable in our own skin and amplify voices, queer voices, Asian voices. Simultaneously, we're layered. You know what I mean? The crossover is real.
Actor Tom Holland is opening up about how a recent project led him to take a break from drinking. In an interview with EW, Holland said he has been sober for more than a year after filming the upcoming Apple TV Plus crime thriller, The Crowded Room. The Spider-Man star plays a man who was arrested in 1979 for a shooting. Holland said the role forced him to deal with the intricacies of the human mind and how we deal with trauma. The Tony Award-winning musical Six is making its Los Angeles debut. The cast of the play walked the purple carpet for the British musical comedy that focuses on the 6 wives of King Henry VIII. Six won 23 awards, including the Tony Award for Best Original Score. On the purple carpet, Hollywood stars showed their support for the ongoing writers' strike.
We're waiting to start the season until we get a fair deal for the writers. I was out there with them today. I will proudly report that Abbott Elementary is among the best represented full cast and crew and writers on the picket lines out here. We were out there in force. I think me, Stan, Quinta, 4 or 5 of the writers, the other 2 executive producers. We're just hoping to get back to work, truly hoping to get back to work, but in a way that everybody can afford to earn a living. And live in Los Angeles or New York, these expensive cities where we do this great job.
Writers are fighting for better pay, and it all centers around residual payments and what writers receive from streaming services. The Writers Guild is asking for more transparency about streaming data. Just in time for Mother's Day weekend, Jennifer Lopez is the mother, an assassin forced to give up her baby. It's an action flick for moms and J.Lo fans. Of course, Out digital director Rafi Ermac had to ask J.Lo if she even knew about her mother title before the movie.
You are the mother in this film, but did you also know that you're the mother to a whole generation of gay fans who grew up on your music?
You know, I do hear that some people call me the mother, or mother. You know what I mean? Some of my fans, some of my J lovers. So I like that. I love that. I didn't know I was, the mother to a generation of fans, but I like that idea. I will accept that role.
Witness is a new art exhibit at the WACO Theater in LA. WACO is co-founded by Richard and Tina Knowles, that's Beyonce's mom, and it stands for Where Art Can Occur. Witness features the art of Black women and femme-identifying image makers. I recently spoke with Amber J. Phillips and Alexis Hunley about the power of art and identity.
What was so amazing about this exhibition is like you get a letter about it and it's like Tina Knowles Lawson. I'm like, that can't possibly be real. I know. Like I was in my kitchen, I was like, I don't know what that is. So it's like, even when I got the call to be a part of this, it was so amazing that I had to double check, because everything about the exhibition is like, it's about folks who are telling stories about witnessing Black women and about Black feminisms and mirrors. And I literally had to write them like, are y'all talking about my work? And they're like, yes, sweetheart, we definitely are. And it's everything about this exhibition has just been such a blessing in terms of sometimes when you go about telling these stories, you can feel like you're in your own echo chamber. A lot of my stories are a reflection of my community and my friends. And I wish more of these narratives were in the mainstream, but that doesn't mean I don't tell them. So this exhibition felt so amazing to me because walking around, you see how other people's work provides context to your own existence, let alone your art. Every person's art in that exhibition, I could see myself in, and that's not always true. So it feels like such a relief, honestly, that there is space, more and more space being created for Black women, especially Black queer folks. I'm one of, right now that I can track, one of the only Black queer women in my family. And I know there's more, and I know that will become clear to me because I know these women have stories, but I'm so grateful that I get to kind of crack that open with my work and not make it in separation or in isolation of my family, because we all deal with internalized and outward homophobia, queer phobia, that regardless of all that, I'm still here. Yeah. And these are my people, and I'm telling the story of my people, how, whether they knew it or not, a lot of their decision making, how they raised us, the church that I grew up in actually led to my queerness and led to my artistry, in spite of, but because of. And I want them to know that even in their transition, that this is what that continuation of their legacy looks like.
Having this type of space to do that, to feel held and supported and cared for, to know that there's an entire group of people that genuinely, they care. Like, it's very easy to be sifting around in like family work that's very intimate and personal and feel as though like, who's going to care about this but me and my mom and my sister? Who does this really matter to? And then when I take a step back and I think about, there are so many Black families that have treasure troves, that have archives, whether they're boxes and boxes or an album or heirlooms of things that continue to get passed down that tell these stories. Like, they cement our place in existence. They matter, they're important, and they deserve to be shared and witnessed. And so having these opportunities is a big deal, and it does matter. And it gives me a little bit more courage to continue to be vulnerable and share this part of my life in a way that if you had asked me to do this a couple years ago, I'd be like, absolutely not. There's no way. You're not going to set me up.
Witness runs through May 27th at the WACO Theater on South Central Avenue in Los Angeles. Thank you for watching Equal Entertainment. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist.